Hello my friends and welcome to Bristol, Virginia. Today we're touring this beautiful property behind us. It's called Pleasant Hill and it plays an important role in Bristol's history and may actually play a role in the United States history. Monica and I own this place and we operate it as a vacation rental. We call it the museum you can stay in because our idea with the property was to turn it into a vacation rental that felt like you were staying in a period house museum from 1872. So if you want to learn about this house's history and take a look inside, follow me in. I'm Daniel Shue, the old house agent. I'm a real estate agent and I specialize in old and historic homes in Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee. I've dedicated my career to preserving these places while helping others discover the joy of owning a piece of our region's past. On this channel, you'll find restoration journeys, history, and honest insight into what it truly takes to bring old houses back to life. And I'm grateful to have you along for the adventure. When the summer of 1871 dawned over Bristol, the hills above the town were just beginning to stir with change. On July 5th of that year, parcels of land upon Solar Hill were sold, and with them came the promise of grand homes rising above the bustle of State Street. Among the very first was a stately brick residence named Pleasant Hill. Its foundations laid by William H. Smith for the prominent attorney Captain James Harvey Wood. The neighbors marveled that the bricks, each one costing 1 cent to make and 1 cent to lay, multiplied into towering walls that seemed destined to endure. By the spring of 1873, the Woods had moved into their new home. It was a proud house, 2 full stories of brick, its lines a marriage of Greek Revival dignity and Italianate flourish. Wide windows with plain lintels looked out upon Johnson Street, while a shallow hipped roof and bracketed cornice gave the place a touch of the fashionable. In time, the family added a full veranda across the front, a porch broad enough for speeches, and a speech there may have been. Jefferson Davis, former president of the Confederacy, came through Bristol in 1873, and by tradition it is said that he spent the night at Pleasant Hill. The next morning he stepped out on the front porch and addressed a crowd gathered in the yard and the street, listening with rapt attention. For years afterwards, old-timers would tell their grandchildren, "I heard Jefferson Davis at Pleasant Hill." Life within the house was no less remarkable. Lightning once struck a chimney, shaking the house but sparing the walls. Bristol's first telephone is said to have been installed in one of the rooms, today the dining room, so that voices could carry from Pleasant Hill to other corners of the town before anyone else could claim that marvel. The years passed and sorrow touched the home. The Wood's son, young Vernon, drowned in a creek at age 12. Captain Wood's first wife, Laura, died in 1891. He remarried and built a new Victorian dwelling next door. The old home was bestowed to his daughter Mary and her husband Samuel Harris, so that the name Pleasant Hill continued in the family hands. For a time, it was even a parsonage. By the 20th century, ownership shifted a few times, and then, in 1982, a new chapter opened. Bud Phillips, Bristol's own beloved historian and storyteller, purchased Pleasant Hill. With care and devotion, he restored its dignity, filling its rooms with memories, antiques, and the stories of the people of Bristol. For more than 3 decades he lived here, writing, welcoming guests, and reminding all those who came that history wasn't something far away, but alive in the very bricks of the house. So I want to take a moment to talk about the restoration of the front entrance. These side lights had been replaced at one time, maybe in the 1930s, and they ran all the way down through here, and we knew that wasn't period appropriate, but they had also added beveled glass in there, which was quite attractive. So we tried to leave what was there and fill in the bottom with a panel that would have looked original to what was likely here. The door had also been replaced with a French door from the 1930s. Again, had beveled glass, was all glass. There were like 25 panes in there. And we knew that that didn't fit the era at all. So we found this door that seems to date to about 1850. We added some extra molding onto it to make it more appropriate for this house. We added a porcelain doorknob on here that sort of felt like more period than your standard doorknob with a key that you get today. And then our friend Carl made these great pieces here. And how we created these was once we got anything that was added on here later off, we were able to see that there were ghost lines in the paint from some decorative trim work that was here one time. This was all here, but nothing was right here. And so we had our friend Carl follow those ghost lines and create what we thought may have been there, because we're really not sure. We can't find any old pictures of the house. And so we added some decorative pieces and tried to use our imagination along with the ghost lines to see what was possible. Also, this molding up here was completely gone, and our friend Mike recreated that and brought it back to what we think it would have looked like. And so, stepping back a little bit, we're really happy with the way this door turned out. It no longer looks like it was added onto the house, but appears as though it was always here. Another great feature about this door is this great door knocker. We were in Charleston, South Carolina at a gift shop, and we saw this door knocker and thought, hey, that would be amazing on Pleasant Hill. We should buy it. Well, of course, it wasn't cheap. I think it's Virginia Metal Crafters. It's a great piece. And we asked the lady if if she could get that one out for us because they were attached to this board. And she informed us that, oops, that's the only one that's out of stock. She said they'll be in Friday, so we can talk about that then. Well, it just so happened we were on our way to St. Augustine, Florida. So we went to St. Augustine, we called her, we came back to Charleston, picked this up on our way home, and here it is today. We could not be happier. These Greek Revival windows are an astonishing feature on this house. They're a towering 9 feet tall and feature all original glass. They are just beautiful. Also, our shutters are original as well. We've replaced a few panes that got broken, but most of it's original. And they let tons of beautiful light in the house. Even though we have heavy velvet drapes up, it still lets an incredible amount of light in. We just love them so much. There's a video if you want to learn more about historic windows where we actually feature these in our conversation. Just go onto my channel and scroll down till you find the video about historic window repair and even replacement to learn exactly what you should do and what you shouldn't do in home restoration. When Bud passed in 2017, the old home might have grown quiet, but Providence was kind. Monica and I purchased the house in 2022. Compared to others we've done, Pleasant Hill's restoration was mercifully kind. No rotten floors to replace, no shattered windows, not a whole bunch of hideous carpet to rip up. Bud Phillips, the historian who lived here for 3 decades, had done much to keep the house sound, including a front porch restoration and a thoughtful rear addition. Florence Fraccarosi and Denise Ballard purchased the home after Bud passed away to keep it from being turned into apartments. They cared for the house and grounds well. Their stewardship gave us a priceless head start. That said, the house still had one glaring shortcoming: no heat or air. With its solid brick walls and low floor joists, this was no easy challenge, but thanks to our friends at Burnett Heating and Air, Pleasant Hill now has the comfort it deserves. From there, we turned to plaster repair, fresh paint, window restoration, new flooring in the addition, a kitchen renovation, and the creation of a laundry room. Once the bones were sound, we shifted our focus to the soul, the furnishings. It took nearly 2 years to curate Pleasant Hill's interiors. We wanted every detail to reflect the years around its construction in the 1870s, while honoring the Wood family who built it. The Woods named the house after their family home in Gate City, Virginia, and they seemed to prefer tradition. Though Pleasant Hill was a brand new house in 1872, it looked older by design. We imagined they would have filled it with both fashionable Victorian pieces and family heirlooms. Today, you'll find furnishings from the 1830s through the 1870s, some original antiques, some reproductions, many family pieces that belonged to my mother. Period light fixtures glow in the parlors, musical instruments stand ready in the sitting rooms, and every corner tells a story. The result is an atmosphere both authentic and deeply personal. When we were restoring this dining room area, the mantle behind me was loose. So we decided to take it loose from the wall, put it back on, re-secure it for safety reasons. And we're glad we did, because behind that mantle was this very cool tintype. It was in a cavity inside the mantle that was put there by accident. But it looks like about 150 years ago, this little tintype slid down behind the mantle and into this cavity and rested there for a very long time. Upon researching the photo, we found that it dates to about 1882, and the boy in the photo appears to be 11 or 12. That lined up very well with the loss of the Wood family's son, Vernon. He died at age 12, drowning in Moccasin Creek in Scott County. They brought him back here and buried him in East Hill Cemetery. So we're pretty sure not only is this a photo of Vernon, but it was likely the only photo the family had. What a sad situation it would have been to lose the only photo of your deceased child so long ago. Luckily, the mantle was loose. Had it not been loose, we would have never found the photo. So we've enlarged this little tintype and placed him in an antique frame in a place of prominence in the room in which we found it. So this room is not only legendary in Bristol history, but it might potentially be legendary in American history. Come in and I'll tell you why. So in August of 1873, it is well documented that Jefferson Davis came through Bristol giving speeches in an attempt to get the South to rise again. The newspaper says that he got off at the train station, gave a speech, got back on the train and left. While this sounds hasty, it also would make sense that he stayed somewhere. Now, the legend is that he spent the night in this room because he knew Captain Wood. Well, it turns out that Bud Phillips, the author that lived in this house, knew lots of old-timers when he arrived here in the 1950s, and many of them told him they remembered their grandparents talking about hearing a speech that Jefferson Davis gave from the porch of Pleasant Hill. Legend or fact? We don't know, but why let the truth get in the way of a good story? We have old Jeff hanging above the mantle here, watching over whoever sleeps in this room, and we call this the Davis room, just in case it actually did happen. This room may be the most appropriately decorated room in the whole house, dating back to the 1870s, and we ran with the Civil War theme since Captain Wood was a Confederate captain, and we have this possible history of Jefferson Davis spending the night here. So we've decorated with Confederate uniforms, and we even have a dress over here that belonged to my mother when she would attend Civil War reenactments. You'll also find in this room this unique newspaper. It's a reproduction from October 2nd, 1864 from Saltville, Virginia. It talks about Union troops invading the town and creating a turning point in the Civil War. Since opening, Pleasant Hill has welcomed guests from all over the world. Time and again, they remark on the beauty, the care, and the sense of history that embraces them when they walk through the door. Their appreciation for the building means the world to us and shows us we are accomplishing what we seek to do. You see, for us, Pleasant Hill is more than just a house. It is the museum you can stay in. It's a bridge between past and present, and a testament to what can be accomplished when love, vision, and community come together to save a piece of our history. Thank you so much for watching. If you love old houses as much as I do, then I invite you to follow along on all my platforms. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can follow along on Facebook for daily posts, and for a deep dive into history and real estate, you can subscribe to my newsletter. At theoldhouseagent.com, you're going to find valuable resources, regional history about Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee, plus all my current listings. All these likes, shares, and subscriptions to these videos help keep the stories of these places alive. I'm Daniel Shue, the Old House Agent, and I'll see you on the next video.